Hello, I'm in my greenhouse today in my garden rather than on my allotment, and that's because I'm going to be making some preparations for spring by sowing some chilies. Now I've got my polytunnel arriving next month, which is really exciting, but if I wait till next month to sow my chilies, it might just be a little bit too late. The reason for this is that chilies need a really long growing season. The longer the better, and that's just because they're a kind of tropical plant, so they need lots of heat, lots of sunshine, and a long season. So I'm going to get them sown now. It's the middle of January and I'm just going to show you what I'm doing. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sieve my compost. The reason for this is that chili seeds are very small. This means that they just don't have that much power to push their tiny little seedlings up through the surface of the soil. So we certainly don't want big pieces in the soil or in the compost. We just want it to be nice and fine, just to give them the best chance. So I'm just pushing this through a garden sieve at the moment, just to make that really fine texture. Now, this is something that people complain about quite a lot with peat-free composts. It's really difficult with peat-free composts to make them fine enough. Peat is naturally very fine, but peat-free composts all contain different blends of ingredients, and actually screening them is really difficult. It's difficult enough just to run it through a sieve. So it's really important that we do sieve it, because compost companies simply cannot produce in the amounts that we need the fine texture of peat. And that's not something that should be complained about to the compost companies. It is simply just a fact of life with peat-free compost. So now that I've got a nice little pile of compost and it's all finely sieved, I'm going to add some of it to a tray. I'm using a Super 7 propagator. They definitely need a little bit of extra heat. That would just help to trigger the germination and also to keep the plants nice and healthy. So I'm going to scoop some compost into there. Today I'm going to sow one of my favourite varieties, which is a variety called Fish. Now these chilies come out with beautiful variegated leaves, so they're really worth growing even just for the plant. Now I'm only going to want one of these plants, most likely, but I'm going to sow 3 seeds. So once I've done that, I can take a lollipop stick here and just divide the pot in half. That way I know that I've got one side which is chili fish and the other side can be something else, and I'm not using an entire tray just for 3 seeds. Now I'm using Dalefoot compost and it holds onto moisture really well, which is brilliant because you need moisture in the compost to break down the seed coat and actually release the seedling within. But it is prone to getting overwatered if you're a little bit overzealous with it. So I'm going to use a spray bottle instead of a watering can to water these seeds and get that germination process started. I'm going to plant up the other side now. Then I'm just going to stick the lid on, and the lid is at the moment closed, and that will be the case until the seedlings start to pop up. This will just trap a little bit more heat and a little bit more moisture inside there, and then I can put the whole thing onto the propagator. So I'd love to hear what chilies you're sowing this year. I'm always looking for chili inspiration because I absolutely love growing chilies. So if you've got any really exciting varieties, do let me know in the comments below and I'll see whether I can give them a grow next year. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hopefully I'll be back on my allotment next time. Take care. Bye.